show us, let's say I am a new client, right? And I love what you have shown here. I'm convinced I want to sign up. How would I go about like launching my first, campaign? Or how would I go about like soup to nuts? I want to create an environment like the Notre Dame environment that you showed us. How do I go about even getting started with that? Like, does this take months to develop? Is it a big lift on my team? Like, walk us through. I want it all, right? And I want to use this as part of my key component to my overall enrollment management strategy for the year. How do I go about getting started?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think there's some of it's going to depend on the depth and breadth of the program and the campaign, right? So to your question about how long it takes to get going, we've had, during the peak of COVID, we had an institution that would sign a contract and they hosted their first event for prospective students or admitted students in, I think our record was 11 days, right?
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
so there's and I'll pull up another example just to have kind of in the background of just another client that used us for different purposes and why, and so there's different timetables for different things. Well,
Sure.
University of Connecticut's a great example. They used us for their admitted student programs, and they still do, and they still will. And they also used us for orientation, which I'll talk about, the way they use that process in a little bit. So a standard Conduit instance, our team does all the heavy lifting for the setup of the instance.
Okay.
We like to say, you send us the bricks, we're going to build the foundation in the house, and then the client can go in and put in the carpet and add the drapes, right? And the editing of the content on the sub pages, it's all self-guided and self-driven, and I'll kind of walk through what that looks like next. But what you see here, the logos across the top, the links to the social platforms, the building of those sub pages or those categories of content, the background video, of course, the client provided the background video,
Sure.
and then we develop this content. And the reason why we develop these in one way is because there's a lot of technology that goes into the back end of surfacing live content and making sure everything is connected and working together, right? And enrollment managers are not coders, they are recruiters, they are marketers, they are people, right? And
Yeah.
so we're here to support them by doing the heavy lifting of laying down the bricks. But enrollment managers are also entertainers, and they are also, again, people, and so they want to have, many times they want to have a hand in the final touches, right? And
Sure.
so if I go into the platform environment, once we develop the architecture of the platform, which really is just dependent on when the client gets us the material, the background video, and we have a spec sheet for colors to use and logos and those sorts of things, that can take 48 to 72 hours for our team to get the architecture built up. And then it's the editing the content on the pages, right? And so
Yeah.
within this environment, we have in the My Pages tab, you can see that there are the links to the different pages on a specific platform. You click the gear icon, which is pretty universal for editing and managing content. And now you have this very easy to follow, step-by-step accordion style builder where you can just expand and work on the part that you want to work on, right? And so
Nice.
you can make these edits as you go. So this page description section, again, I'm on the Conduit University instance, so I don't break anything for any clients, but this page description section is what is visible here on the landing page of the platform and also on that sub page itself. As I go down into styling and design, this is where I have the ability to update the primary color or secondary color of the pages, the image that appears as this tile on the home page and in the
Yeah.
corner on the landing page itself. All of these things update in real time. So you can check as you go. You're not going to break anything as you're making edits on your platform. And so you have the ability to kind of go in and manage and make these edits and kind of see what they look like. We do what we call office hours for new clients, where as part of the onboarding process, I do a training on all of these different pieces, and I can legitimately make one of our pages go from skeleton to fully built out page in a 15-minute period.
Wow.
Obviously, I have a folder with all the things I need where I upload it, but
Sure.
that's as easy as it gets to be able to come in and just upload documents, manage the contact information. These are all fill in the blank type things. So we make it as easy as possible from a template perspective. So it doesn't take weeks or months to get your content built like it does candidly for a virtual tour or a virtual view book or these sorts of things that take all of this effort and all of this work to put together.
Sure.
And so this is a pretty quick process, and that's for a standard Conduit instance. We also, from the search campaign side of things, we develop what we call a convert campaign. And what a convert campaign allows us to do is deploy the email component of a search campaign on behalf of our clients and drive them into those on-demand instance of the Conduit platform to be able to identify prospects. So for this purpose, this is an example for Maryville. Maryville University is working with us to develop this campaign right now. And
Yeah.
so this takes a little longer to set up because there's the email sequence that has to get built for it, right? And that's a
Sure.
7 to 10 email sequence with some A/B testing. And so there's approvals that go into the content, and of course the loading of the video content to these specific resource pages. With that said, the process of managing the content on these pages and uploading of videos to these pages is the same as a standard Conduit instance. So there's nothing to learn. Maryville's been working with us for years, so there's nothing new for them to learn when they're setting up this campaign. And so what can happen here is that that search email can go to those lists that they've gotten from a testing service or a survey service or a lead gen site or whatever it is. We drive them into here, and now we know what content that they're engaging with and can convert those prospects based on their activity versus filling out an RFI form, because they all get the Q
Yeah.
token, they all have their unique identifier in our system, and we just deliver it to Slate or Salesforce or Element 451 or Genzabar, whatever, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes directly into the CRM. The last use case with Conduit is what we call workflow. And what workflow allows us to do is develop customized, personalized content based on that student's profile.